This weekend, a group calling themselves Manchester Trans Rise Up, dressed like paramilitaries, complete with balaclavas, and forcefully stopped a women's rights campaign group from holding an event next to a statue of Pankhurst.
Get your hands off me. You're grabbing my Hey!
Pretty appalling scenes. They also tied the trans rights flag around the statue's waist, like an apron. Well, J.K. Rowling shared the video of the clash on Twitter. She said, "I never expected the right side of history to include so many people in masks intimidating and assaulting women. Did you?" So can trans rights coexist with women's rights? It's all getting very emotive and very heated. In a moment, I'll be speaking to women's rights activist Kelly J. Keane, who was speaking on that day. But first, trans woman and activist Jame, not her real name, she's wearing a mask to protect her identity, joins me from the site of the protest. Jame, welcome.
Hey, Piers. It's good to hear your voice, you know.
Well, it's good to honestly, it's good to talk to you. I want to have a proper debate with you. It's an uncensored show, so you can speak your mind. Here's my question for you. You're standing at the side of where all this went down. When you see the video footage of members of your group that day, and you were there, members of the group basically physically assaulting a woman who was sitting there, what do you feel?
I feel annoyed because the footage is cut and it doesn't show them storming in, shoving people over that little bit of concrete over there, which is kind of dangerous, you know. You could hurt your head quite a lot doing that. It doesn't show them shoving, strangling and kicking people. And there's also not the, you know, I think I sent footage to the producers of the show. I doubt you guys will want to show it, but we've got other footage of the same TERFs that came over and tried to assault us there, strangling and punching people at other protests. They like to play the victim.
Look, listen, I think, if you don't mind me saying, you're playing slight whataboutery. So I only really want to know, what is your reaction to the footage we have seen, which clearly shows some of the people that you were with assaulting a woman? I mean, you can't be happy that that is the image that your group has now seen around the world as doing.
I mean, firstly, I would say, as I just said, you know, the footage is cut. You can't see the start of the footage. And the people dressed in black, who are our security to protect members, vulnerable members of our community, they are there defending themselves because these women came in when we were already having a peaceful protest there and started attacking us. They will spin it the other way. JK will spin it the other way. They'll all spin it the other way. But that is what happened. It's just they have a lot more money and power than us, so it's easier for them to get a reach and put that message out.
But let me ask you.
But what I would say, you know, the way I really feel about that. I think it was a good thing that we came to that. You said that it was because we didn't like Emmeline. It's not that we didn't like Emmeline. She was racist. She was also a Tory. So, you know, we probably wouldn't have got on with her. But our big issue was that we don't want these hateful, transphobic women coming in, some of whom, Kelly J. Keane, for example, is a big racist, a big conspiracy theorist, an anti-vaxxer, a fascist. We don't want these people coming in and standing next to this icon of feminism,
right, but
and the suffragette movement.
Look,
and
I'm going to speak.
No, Piers, listen. Piers, listen. Stop shouting over me. They are appropriating the imagery of the suffragette movement, a movement for women's liberation, and rebranding it as this hateful movement against trans people, and we don't stand for that. And the majority of women, the majority of feminists, don't stand for it either.
All right, let me put my cards on the table. I've always supported trans rights to fairness and equality, and I mean that sincerely. I want everyone...
bro.
Well, you can say bro, and that's fine. You're entitled to. It's an uncensored show, and you've just proven it. But let me just say to you, I always have...
Wasn't your profile picture?
Well,
wasn't your profile picture identifying as a penguin?
There's no point swearing. I apologise to our viewers for your bad language. This is a chance for you to present yourself in a way where we can have a proper debate. If you've got no interest in doing that, that's fine. But I'm just going to say to you that I've always supported trans rights to fairness and equality. My issue with the way this trans debate is going is in issues like sport, for example, where I think it's very unfair that trans women should be competing against women born to female biological bodies. I have issues about safety for women. I have issues about other areas of women's rights.
Piers,
do you understand...
Piers,
well, let me finish. Let me ask you a question. Do you understand and appreciate...
What are all these dog whistles and talking points?
They're not dog whistles and talking points. They are legitimate areas of concern. You can't just call everyone who disagrees with you transphobic.
Shut up, please.
If you keep swearing, I'll have to cut you off.
You can go and have a look at their websites. You can have a look at their Twitters. Like, they are transphobic.
Yes, but I am
Kelly
talking
J.
to you.
Keane was kicked out of
I just
Kelly
said
J.
to you,
Keane
all
was
right, if you're
kicked
going
out
to...
of Women's Place UK for being
If
too
you don't want to have a
racist.
civilized
Like, these are not
conversation with
good
me...
people.
Okay, look, I'm trying to give you a chance. I've explained my position. What is your problem with my position?
I don't really know. I'm going to leave the interview now. I kind of only came on here because I thought it would be kind of funny. But I want to say you're a and you're a fascist.